Yo, before we get into the interview, man, I want to give a shout out to all my radio stations all across the country who have the Bootleg Kev Show as an official affiliate. Man, we're on the radio in about 100 cities nationwide every day. Want to give a shout out to Real 92.3 in LA. Shout out to The Beat in Miami. Shout out to Wild 94.1 in Tampa. Shout out to Hot 98.3 in Tucson. Power 98.3 in Phoenix. We 102.9 in Portland. We're all over the country, so you can tap in with that radio show. If you want to know if we're on in your city, just go to bootlegkev.com. The full list of cities is there. You might hear us. Let's get into the interview. Bootleg Kev podcast, man. We got special guests in here. A couple of Tennessee boys. One from Memphis, one from Nashville. Don Tripp, Starlito. Welcome.
Yeah.
What's happening, Step Brothers?
Step Brothers are here, man.
For life.
Yes, sir. You guys just dropped the deluxe.
Yeah.
Step Brothers 4.5.
Yes,
True
sir.
that.
It's crazy because you guys have put together this like series of projects over the last, when was the first one? It's been at least, 9, 10 years?
Longer than that. 2011, we dropped Step Brothers 1.
Damn.
Yeah. July of
Aging. I feel
2011.
aged. I just watched the Letter to My Son video and I just saw how young you looked in that video and I realized how long ago it was.
Yeah, well, I definitely had fewer grades.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But you embrace the grays on the new music too, which I
I did,
appreciate. You
indeed.
got to, man.
Yeah, man, it's life. You know, running from it would resolve nothing, man.
I wonder, man, for y'all, like you guys have always kind of been this underrated force in music. And when you guys get together, there's just something special about when you guys put these Step Brothers projects together or when you guys get on each other's records. When was the initial, because you guys say in the music, you guys 200 miles away from each other. What's the initial link up? What's the initial genesis of this relationship and I guess this crazy synergy you guys have creatively?
You mean like where it started?
Yeah, where did it all start at between y'all two?
It started, I was on the road with Yo Gotti.
Mixtape Gotti.
I don't know if he was working on mixtapes.
It's like TVT Gotti, probably, I'm assuming.
it
No?
wasn't
Probably
TBT.
After that, it was around the time probably Cocaine Music 5.
Got it.
4, between 4 and 5.
Yeah, he better with
So-
the timelines than me.
Yeah, I was there. He wasn't there.
Yeah. I was there and still wasn't
Yeah,
there. So
he's never
Yeah.
all the way there. But
yeah, I guess you could say that. But
yeah, that was 2010, somewhere
Yeah.
around that time.
Yeah.
Early 2011.
Still blog era.
yeah. So he made a stop in Nashville. He went to do whatever it is he went to do. I ain't really I don't like I don't like pocket watching. So while he was doing what he was doing, you know, we kind of veered off to do other things, and we ended up making a stop over at a Star spot, and that was my first time meeting Star. And from there, we kind of just, long story short, the relationship kind of grew from there. It went from, I guess, me meeting him and being able to appreciate the way he worked and the drive he got and the love he got for what he do. And I would like to say he saw the same, we saw it in comparison in each other. And it went from one record. As a matter of fact, I think the first record might have been like a mixtape record or something. I can't really remember. But, we went from one record to, here we are, Step Brothers for life. And, I don't even know how many records we got together since then.
Yeah, no, it's dope too because I feel like each project has it's like a timestamp of where you guys are as men. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys take your time with these projects. It's not,
Definitely.
you know what I mean? So for you guys, like, if I think I look at like the victory that Clips just put on the wall with being guys who are, either over 50 or knocking on their 50s in Push's case and just grown man rap, like real dope music, kind of like finding a place in the commercial landscape to be successful.
Yeah.
How do you guys kind of feel like, because you guys are very much like I said earlier, you guys are like independent powerhouses at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys have managed to kind of navigate this weird space of hip hop where the major labels are really kind of not looking for the most highest integrity artists as much as, maybe in 2009, 2010.
Right.
But you guys have been able to put together this string of victories between the both of y'all's catalogs at this point for the last 15 years or so. Where do y'all feel like the music game is now, and is it easier to fit in with what y'all are doing, do you feel like?
I think just the opposite. We don't aim to fit in. And
Right.
that's part of the sweet spot we exist in. Like you mentioned, the Clips album and all the stigmata of like ageism and otherwise.
Yeah.
Like to see that not matter as much and just the cream rises to the top, as they say. But I think not fitting in is what works for us. One, in the sense that I think it stands out as something unique,
Right.
something true, something inspired, but also that us not being so trendy doesn't limit us in terms of like shelf life and appeal, because it works for who it works for, and we're just kind of zeroed in on that. And if that so happens to fit in, you know, so be it. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But yeah.
So be it.
But yeah, it just works, man. Like you said, we've tried to grow with our music, with our audience, and no one stays the same age or stays in the same space forever. So.
Right. Don, I know you had like your run with the major label stuff. Star, I'm not familiar. Did you have like a spurt where you had any sort of situation where you're dealing with like a major?
Yeah, it was before mine, actually.
Yeah. I signed with Cash Money and Universal Motown in like 2005 through Yo Gotti. That's where the connection came from. I had been working with Yo Gotti for about 5 years at the time when they were in talks or around each other, and that's what actually placed us around each other. But
That's crazy.
I signed a deal when I was like 19, 20 years old. And
With Gotti?
Through
Gotti,
Gotti. And like a production deal with Universal Motown and Cash Money. So
I wonder too, because you guys obviously have seen so many different eras of Tennessee hip hop. Kind of, you know, Nashville's one place. Memphis is kind of ran rap for, I would say, the last few years. If you look at some of the bigger artists that have came out, what is like your perspective? I want to know your guy on two artists. Obviously, we just talked about Gotti. To just see like what CMG's become, how he's grown as a executive, it's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. What about another person you guys work with a ton? Somebody who is from your hometown, Stars, like Jelly Roll, who's obviously started as an underground hip hop artist,
Right.
and is now about to wrestle at SummerSlam, and
Yeah.
and he's on American Idol.
Man, that's just as impressive, if not more impressive. We go back 20 plus years. We were right around the same age. We kind of had our start at the same time, so we've always kind of kept tabs on one another. And
You guys have a ton of music together.
yeah, we've done some music over the years and plan to do some more here pretty soon. I think it's amazing to see him like find an audience and it be outside of the, I guess, comfort zone or range.
Right.
Like I saw him battle rapping, you
Yeah.
know, around the time I graduated high school, early 2000s, and to see him transcend rap, he's just a star. I think he's just a star at large. Like, yes, his music is at the centerpiece of it, but knowing him, I feel like it's just really cool that he's being himself, and I think his personality shines through the music and just presence and appeal. Seeing him on Super Bowl commercials and all that, and just the same, he's on FaceTime with my daughter.
Same dude,
day.
yes, and it's the same guy. I always would tell him that. I'm like, dude, all you got to do is get in front of the world, and they're gonna love you like everybody else who knows you loves you, bro.
For sure.
It's crazy. Don, now that your kids are grown, right? Like I saw the cover. You have some older kids, right?
Right.
Do your like? I wonder how does your son take
Letter to my son.
now that he understands and can hear it, and like that has to be like a crazy.
Yeah, we had a conversation maybe like middle last year, I would like to say. I try to make my kids comfortable enough to talk to me about any and everything. And I can't remember how the song came up, but we was in the kitchen when the topic arrived, and it became like an awkward moment for everybody that was present.
Right.
We all kind of got quiet, and I looked at him and I asked him, I'm like, well, this is the first time we've ever had the conversation. So, what do you feel about it? Or how do you feel about it? And he told me that, of course, his first time hearing it, or up until that point, he had only felt offended by it. He said, you know, it was pretty much a diss to my mama.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
And
I
I'm
would
like-
say it was an anthem for
Right.
people who were going through that specific.
I agree, but I explained to him, you know, what was going on in that moment.
Where
in
your head
time.
was at.
Right, and you know, for the most part, he understood. He's familiar with how things kind of played out. So from that conversation, he's like, you know, he understands where I was coming from, and he understands the amount of anger and turmoil I had to have felt to be, you know, to be restricted from being able to be a father. And he asked me if I would have made that same song today. And I told him, knowing what I know, I would have still made the same song. I just wouldn't have called out her name for the sake of you. I said, other than that, I didn't lie in the song. None of it was fictitious. I said, I didn't make it up. So, you know, if telling the truth ruffled feathers, then so be it. But, you know, look at where we were and look at where we are now.
Yeah.
And, you know, even now in my music, I can't help but be honest that, you know, in most cases, that's my therapy. I was fortunate enough to find a lane or find a career path that could assist when it comes to my therapy. But even if rap didn't pay, it still would be my outlet because that's what it was then. You know, if you go back, like, you know, we were speaking before we started running, the original Love to My Son record, I had no idea that it would become what it became.
Yeah, I mean, the label kind of jumped onto it because it went crazy.
Right, but
And then they
know,
put CeeLo on it.
right, but it already had a life of its own.
It was its own thing.
And you know, if you go back and watch that YouTube video, you know, there was no Craig liked to say, I ain't putting nothing on it. You know, it wasn't dressed up in no manner. That was me pouring my heart out because at that moment, that's what I needed to do. It was either that or, you know, the pressure was going to make me crack and it was going to... Now, I don't know where it would have went if I didn't have music as an outlet.
Do you guys, because I feel like what y'all's superpower is, obviously you guys have such a great chemistry together, but you guys are also like, besides being elite MCs,
I appreciate it.
you guys are very, very, like you guys aren't afraid to be vulnerable on records. You know what I'm saying?
True that.
I feel like a lot of artists these days, like the younger generation at least, might be a little more hesitant to be vulnerable because they're worried about what people think about them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you guys, that's where you guys thrive, is like being vulnerable and talking about shit that like grown motherfuckers can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like how you guys have to, I can imagine between the two of you guys, when your fans come up to you, it's like the conversation's got to be different when someone says like, yo, you got me through this, or this verse.
No doubt. No doubt. I think that's the driving force is the reaction that people have to it, as much as it's therapy, as much as it, I think, helps us as individuals, as artists, to just express ourselves. The fact that it has that reach or that appeal, that effect on people, because at meet and greets and passing in traffic, like, you'd be surprised at things that people share in terms of their experiences or how the impact of something in the music.
Right.
And to us, it may have just been something to express in that moment, but I mean, I've had people explain that how the music saved their life or they went through some extremely trying times. I've had people going through like being hospitalized, dealing with cancer treatments. I listened to your music at every chemo treatment until it improved, and that was the only thing that gave me like some sense of like peace or solace or otherwise. And that's deep, because I always ask like, what song was it? What were you listening to? Just because, and it's almost always surprising. You know, it's just something there. But as far as the vulnerability, I think that's something that rap especially is very, very shy of, and that's like humanity. Like everyone's so like charged up, so superpowered that we don't get the human condition. We don't get, you know, reality, a certain sense of gravity in the music. And I don't mean in the sense of just making sad music. I just mean for making real music.
For sure.
Because a lot of times, like, life life is real, you know, and I think a lot of us have more in common than we have like
differences. We always focus on the differences. That's all that's getting pushed in front of our faces.
I got this and you don't have this. So I'm doing this.
You turn on the news, they're gonna talk about why you should hate your neighbor, as opposed to what y'all agree on. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And so I think it's like bringing it closer to home in that sense. But we're humans. I mean, we made records collectively that brought us to tears. And that's just, I mean, I think that's necessary. You need that cleanse, you need that purge. Like if we just walked around like everything was all right all the time, eventually we'd implode or you know.
I can imagine when you have those interactions with people too, it just has to put like gas in the tank to be like, yo, we got this thing. This is this is touching people's lives.
It's worth it reminds me that it's worth doing.
Yes.
Like, regardless of like
because at this point in time, I feel like you guys could invest in real estate. I mean, I'm not saying you guys aren't doing whatever y'all doing on the side, but at this point in time, it's like you're doing this shit to feed your flock. You have a fan base that is very much like dependent on y'all's music. Like people, like I know anytime I post like a best of list or some shit, because I always will reply to B-Dot's list. Man, every year I got somebody in the comments banging on me about both of y'all. Like,
yeah, man. The fans go hard.
No, they definitely go hard. Hey, real quick, want to tell you about our sponsors at Odd Socks. That's our day one family. Make sure you follow them at Odd Socks Official. I just got done running a 5K with them and Burt Kreischer. You see the Happy Gilmore socks. You know part 2's coming soon. They got the socks. They got the draws, the most comfortable socks in the entire world, plus the underwear, all of it. Get 20% off. Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use that promo code BOOTLEG right now. Hey, don't forget to go to bootlegkev.com. You know, we had to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the most viral interview of all time. Throw the shirt up so you could see it. I turned it down. Shout out to that boy, Big Boogie, a big college in Jacksonville. And we just threw these on sale. Half off for the 500 episode tee. Bootlegkev.com. Go get you a shirt. Let's get back to the interview. You guys, your approach to visuals, specifically with this new project, has been super aggressive. And it reminds me like very much of like just OG era, blog era shit where you might get 5-6 videos off of an album. You guys have such great visuals in general. I know you got the Michelangelo and Bugs record, which is like a Tubi movie record, right? Would you guys ever do like a comedy, like a buddy comedy for Tubi? Self-funded?
I mean, I think that was in the subtitle there. I think that was.
No, I don't think he mean for that song.
No, I mean, would y'all do like, would y'all do a real movie?
I
feel like y'all could do like a low-budget Tubi movie. It'd crack.
That particular song was written and by design to be converted to the Tubi format, and that's in the works. But as far as just leaning into there was an undertone in one of the other videos, a shot in for that we wanted to borrow elements of the movie Life. Which was Eddie
great
Murphy
movie.
And
yes,
Martin.
great. That might be the most slept on Eddie Murphy movie, honestly.
And the Step Brothers brand at large was derived from a buddy.
This is very much the Wedding Crashers vibe with the artwork.
Yeah, we have a song called Wedding Crashers on the deluxe, but the cover was actually from the job interview scene in Step Brothers when they were waiting in the lobby, and it was just like, why do you wear tuxedos to a job interview? Kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, we just leaning into the whole tandem vibe, and even with this one, we were just influences of even the Hoop Dreams record on the deluxe is, you know, 2 main characters, like you said, a buddy film, if you will. We went through listing all of our favorite buddy movies, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour, etc. Just in a brainstorming thing, like, so yeah, that's definitely.
That's dope. That's intentional.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know though. Acting is tricky. I think if we ever truly entertain the idea, I would want to do it right. I mean, not as far as it being Tubi. I think anything you going into, you supposed to get everything you got. So if I was to, ever step into that space, I would have to get an acting coach. I would want to do it right.
Right. You want to give that art form the respect it deserves.
Right. Exactly. No matter what platform it will wind up being distributed through, because that's really what Tubi is. But besides that, I would want to truly dedicate time and effort to it.
Sure.
I would want to give it the grace it deserves.
Yeah, I just interviewed Joey Badass last week, and we were talking about, and I was like, yo, is it possible for you to be in actor mode and rapper mode at the same time? He's like, man,
I don't think so.
Well, he was saying that he said that he has so much respect for both art forms.
Yeah.
That so when he does both, he's like, I have to, like, something's compromised.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10%, 20% compromised, because I'm putting so much into the hip hop that I can't then go put that much into being on set. It's one or the other. You got to respect the art. You know what I'm saying?
I think I like the idea of leaning into it with the music, like doing like musical style things.
For sure.
Like I think Carmen was one.
Yeah.
What's that? With Beyonce?
Yeah, I believe so. The one with it was like a Othello adaptation. Did it have some music to it? But regardless, like making it
kind of like a music. Like if you guys were to do it, make kind of the music the bass line of the movie,
the dialogue,
Rap
right?
musical?
That'd be tight.
Something to that effect. I mean, I feel like effective music videos do that in their own way. Like one of our biggest records, Caesar and Brutus, we're acting out what we're rapping, and I think that presentation like kind of covers both ends. But like you said, I mean, we're not professional grade actors, but we are very descriptive in these lyrics, and we bring that to life. We had the Good Cop, Bad Cop record, which was very cinematic.
Yep.
And we've been intentional about that on this project as well. The Schadenfreude, we're in character for the sake of the video, and it's not ourselves necessarily.
You guys we got the whole ring and everything for the Royal Rumble video. You guys like wrestling fans?
Definitely.
But we had that in common that we grew up as wrestling fans.
There's a whole damn match going on behind y'all.
I grew up as a wrestling fan.
So you guys are OG wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Are you hip to the new stuff at all?
No, I don't know
Nah,
any
not
of the
really.
new people.
So like, what's y'all's era?
My era is
Mine's 90s, primarily.
So probably like Attitude Era, Stone Cold.
And before
right
that.
before. So
And before it.
my era, well, I guess I got into them like during the Monday Night Wars.
That shit was great.
Yeah, you click on the WCW.
You go back
Eric
and forth.
Bischoff tell you everything that
What's
already
gonna happen on
Right.
on WWF? Yeah.
It was just crazy looking back at it that even though he told us what was gonna happen and who was gonna win,
Still
You still wanted to go watch.
You still switched the channel to watch it.
You know what's funny? Because when they started to come back a little, the WWF is when DX pulled up to the Monday Nitro outside. You remember that in the tank? That is when it felt like the tide started to turn. You're like, oh, these fools put up on them and stood up on business.
And then that last run when Vince McMahon stepped on him and said, "Yeah, I'm here because I bought it." You know?
Yes.
It's
different.
This ain't just entertainment no more. Some of this is for real. You know, maybe not the finishing moves, but he stepped on him when he said that. So but that's more our era than now.
Yeah,
what's going on now?
For me, it started prior to that, like 1990-ish. I remember having a Royal Rumble on VHS tape. And,
Probably Hulk Hogan days.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate
Sergeant
Warrior.
Slaughter, Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
And my granddad used to collect wrestling figures.
Oh,
And
shit.
So that was kind of my introduction to it. He was like, that was his gift.
That's
typically, he had like a bookshelf full of wrestling figures that
I got drawers at my house.
none of the kids could touch. And so he would give us our own, but that was kind of.
But his were up.
Right.
What happened to the figures?
I got them. I got action
Who
figures
knows?
now.
I got a few. I have a few of them that he gave me from back then that I kept over the years.
Yeah, I got Bray Wyatt autographed there. He passed away, but at the crib I got a bunch.
I didn't know that. I'm familiar with him, but not too. I play the.
The game's so much
the
fun.
game.
Oh, the game's so much fun.
So I'm familiar with him, but I didn't know he had passed.
Yeah, he
I peeped your Sting and your Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah, I'm a wrestling guy. I mean, that's why I'm excited because I'm going to SummerSlam to watch my friend wrestle. Our buddy Jelly's about to have a 15-minute match.
Hold on, he
He's
wrestling.
wrestling. Yeah,
Who was he wrestling?
He's having a tag team match. Him and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul, one of the brothers.
Logan Paul is one of them. That's not the one that fought Tyson, is it? Which one fought Tyson?
Jake. Wait.
I don't know.
No. Wait, who fought Tyson? Jake?
Jake Paul.
Jake.
Yeah, his brother.
Okay.
Logan fought Floyd.
Hold on, that was two different people?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Both whites with blonde hair for sure.
But they brothers.
But they got the same. They have very similar names, similar
I thought
aesthetics.
the same one fought Tyson and fought
No.
Floyd.
The little brother fought Tyson, and then the big brother fought Floyd.
Or vice versa.
The little brother is the actual guy who takes boxing serious.
Right.
And then Logan he's been like on WWE TV for like 2 years now. He's like a real wrestler. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, Jelly Roll's about to wrestle.
I thought that was the same person. I just thought Homer was like super multitasking.
He just chokeslammed Logan Paul into the desk on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Jelly Roll.
Chokeslam.
Hey man, shout out to Jelly.
Crazy,
man.
right?
He running around here living out all our dreams.
He's doing
man.
all the side quests.
Yeah, definitely.
The side quest god. It's like him and Snoop right now.
I can dig it.
For you guys, talk to me about the business model of being an independent artist and what you guys have been able to learn and advice you would give to artists who are independent, who want to go that route, who maybe have a following, you know, that they're building, that, you know, maybe the major label thing doesn't make sense because you guys have had so much success just putting numbers on the board with the catalog game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any advice for anybody who wants to be independent?
Well, I would say, I wouldn't call it advice because the way I went about it ain't the only way to go about it. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, every shoe don't fit everybody's shit, right? Definitely.
But one thing I will say that you can't do this without, you got to have a business mind state. I think you have to understand that you are a brand, and if you don't approach it like that, then I don't think you in the right space for this. Because you gotta invest, and in most cases, even when you get up the ladder and you got great situations, it still mainly depends on you putting everything you got into it, and you gotta be willing to put everything you got into it, and that's time, that's money. That's
sacrifice, time.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. But if you your own boss in this, you gotta understand that it's your fault if you fail.
Right.
And when you win, it don't really feel like winning don't feel like achievement, if that make any sense. It feel more like it feel more like a landmark. Like you kind of got to treat it like football. You ain't so much paying attention to the touchdowns because that's end all be all. But you trying to get first down. So just about every achievement in this is you making it to first down.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and now, and I think that's the best way for me to describe it. Like everything we do, we fighting and hustling to get to first down. Once we make first down, then we got 3 more downs to get another first down.
Not everything has to be a touchdown.
Right. Well, it take a while. For us, the touchdown is when it's over.
It might be a 10-minute drive, right? As opposed to like a 110-yard bomb from the back of the end zone.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are few and far between. The 99-yard rushes and shit. You don't much get those. I think in this you kind of got to be prepared for that. Now, for some of us, it happens. Sometimes it line up like
sometimes
you do.
Yeah, sometimes
and you get it from there. But I think if you're going to be independent, you got to be prepared for the long road. It ain't this don't happen overnight. And sometimes it get discouraging. I think for me and him, we just happen to be the kind of people who aren't easily discouraged. Like I know, well, I can say for both of us, I've seen I've seen him in that mode.
Right.
But like if you tell me I can't do it, I got a point to prove now. And Craig worked the same way. Like if it seems impossible, that's only impossible to the person that said it. For us, it's a challenge. All right. Well, you said I can't. Let's see how we make this shake. And when it don't work out, we don't fall apart. I don't mean like as a group. I mean as people.
As people, yeah. Because when things don't work out, a lot of people they get down and they don't recover.
And that be it. That be the end of the run. But for us, I think the adversity is part of what makes you and part of what makes it worth it.
For you guys, what would you say throughout this musical journey was the closest you had been to hitting rock bottom and being like the hardest low point to come back from?
Man, probably a few. I mentioned it a time before, but I think grief and compartmentalizing like life things was a tough hurdle a few different times, from losing some close friends, people around you that may have been part of just your life and your day-to-day operations. But namely one time pronounced, because I was already on kind of a hiatus, if you will, after I got a 6-year-old daughter. So about a year or so after she was born, I kind of stepped away just to prioritize,
That was around the time you dropped paternity leave?
around the same time.
That Girl Dad song was dope. But
Appreciate it. She
Jelly
was
roll on that. Ain't it?
yeah, you are too.
You're on that. You might be on that as well.
But she was like 1 year
Speaking of forgetting
old.
everything.
Yeah, for sure. She was like 1 year old then, and around that time, I just took a step away. And about 2 years or so later, when young Dolph passed, it was deflating. And as a peer, as a comrade, as a collaborator, etc., just a homie, it took the fight out of me a lot, as you know, I guess taking inventory of where I was career-wise and life-wise, and it was difficult to find the value of all of this at large, because to watch someone from relative unknown to go to like superstar status, and for the way everything happened, I just was like,
I got Dolph I got a mural of Dolph on the wall outside. That was my guy, man. Good guy. That sucked the room, like the life out of a lot of people who were close to him, because I feel like it was so unexpected.
Yeah, and that was definitely like a low point in terms of, I just didn't really care about like rap overall, because I mean, rap brought us into each other's lives, and so many other people and my peers. I've been rapping professionally my entire adult life, so I am tethered to a lot of the experiences and relationships that have come with it. Sure. And that was, I would say that was a low point. And I mentioned it on this album, and just kind of echoed in my head some of those conversations we had along the way, even early on. And I let the same thing that was deflating or discouraging like empower me just the same, because I value like legacy so much.
Right.
And I wouldn't want my story to end on a low point or on a tapping out kind of thing, because one, I've already grossly overachieved what I set out for myself and going on this journey, and I still feel like we got so much left to contribute. And so, I mean, that's also a joy, is working out of those low points, because everything's ebbs and flows, and there's been tons of things individually, collectively,
right, of course,
for us. But for the sake of the question, like, that was a spot for me.
What about you, Don?
For me, it would have to be. It wasn't grief. Well, I guess grief was kind of blended in it. At some point, I want to say maybe like end of 2019, I'd like to say. I think that is when. So I guess it was mostly grief, but I lost my brother, and I think that was like he said, grief. I guess that was the probably the lowest for me, because for the first time in a very long time, music didn't help.
Right.
The
therapeutic part of your outlet. Wasn't.
It I don't know, I couldn't get it to work right then. So I don't want to get emotional. So, just a lot of what I experienced during that time. I don't know, I think I was dealing with so much pain from that moment in time, or that incident, that I lost my brother too, that I ain't really have room for tolerance with people and people's behavior. So I cut a lot of people out of my life around that time, and it was a lot going on around that time, so it was expensive for me too. And the combination of both, one, I couldn't release music. Well, I couldn't record music. That's step one. You can't release it if I never, if you don't have the song. Right. But it was becoming expensive, all the shit I had to deal with, just no death is on time, but it couldn't have happened at a worse time financially. And my brother was in the mix, so he didn't have no life insurance or nothing of the sort.
Right.
So just about everything. I'm not complaining about having to cover it. I feel like it's the least I could do. It's not like he asked me to do it or begged me to do it. That was
the right. I mean, it was. I mean, you got.
It was the only way I could pay my respects.
Right.
I wouldn't want him to go out any other way. But either way, that point in time, or that moment in time, was the toughest for me, and it took a lot for me to shake back from it. I don't know what it was. I don't know what gave me the the push to turn the corner. Maybe it was just the time of the timing of me not really meeting, but I already knew her. But it might have been the timing of my relationship with my wife. It could have been that. It could have been a number of things. I can't really say. I never really sat and evaluated, but that was a space I never want to return to. But
do you feel like you were able to heal it all by putting out like the projects with your brother on them, paying homage to him?
Well, you said heal at all, or heal
or like
at
heal,
all?
like heal at all. Like was it? Did it give you some sort of peace to be able to like share his gift with the world too and pay homage with him with the project?
Definitely, it was relieving. I wouldn't say that it cured the grief.
Of course.
Right, but it definitely was a great. It was Neosporin, definitely.
Right,
because it was one thing to create the music, because he recorded very. Piff was ridiculous, man. He'd go and record. He didn't care if the mic was too hot. He just would record. He didn't care that he had 7 people in the booth with him.
right.
He ain't care if he didn't own that beat. Like, he just didn't care. He just was recording. So fast forward when it came time for me to try to put it together and create music from it, I had a lot of sorting out and cleaning up
the vocals,
right? Cleaning up the vocals,
getting hold of engineers, like, hey,
right? Cleaning up agreements,
yeah.
So because those didn't exist,
right,
for him at least. But either way, from doing that, that was one thing, but the way it was received was the thing that really I want to say, if anything helped, that's what helped.
Just the reception.
Yeah, to see people really tuned in, and like I started to see so many people say how much they wish they could have got a Piff project from Piff.
Right, when he was here, yeah.
Right, and I wish the same thing. I ain't a big if person. I think if is the biggest word in the dictionary. And Craig know Piff well enough to know that if he was alive, it would have been harder for me to create these projects, because Piff was my older brother. He was a year older, but he had like big brother complex. So the last person he's gonna listen to is me.
You, because he knows better.
Right. And
every big sibling knows better than
right. It don't matter how far I've made it in this, he knows better than me. So me saying, hey man, we've had this conversation. Right. Hey bro, maybe you should record with not so many people in the booth. So when it's time to mix your vocals, we can hear you.
Yeah.
He said, all right, I hear you. And then here we are. I got this song, and I don't know who's rapping, because it's people having a conversation
in the background.
But it ain't even in the background. Like I felt like he might have been in the conversation because it's too close. Yeah. I'm like, man, I don't know what y'all was doing, but that's not how you record.
Right.
But he knew better. He knew how to record. He just didn't care.
Right.
But I think for him, it was more like, I don't know if it was therapy or not. We never really had that conversation.
Right.
But I feel like maybe that was the case. Maybe he was recording to get, or maybe to scratch his creative itch.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't about the music as much as it was about, like you said, the process.
Right.
The therapeutic aspect
but
that you
the tricky
get from.
part always came from the shows. P would come with me. P was like the ultimate hype man.
Right.
Best album.
And when we go and perform, before we perform, P will count my back end 600 times. And I'll say, man, you can get show money.
Yeah.
Let's just do step 1 first. We get that together. We can move forward. We can get to that.
Right.
And Pete just wouldn't listen. He was like, man, whatever. He'd be on board. And the next day we talking about getting in the studio. We can't find him.
Right.
And, I said that to say, even though it was relieving and, people wanted to hear a full project from Piff, I can't really say if he was present, we would have been able to. It would have been possible, yeah. That makes sense. Right. And I hate I hate that one is the outcome of the other, but
some silver lining
I can do about it. Right. True that. Definitely the silver lining.
Hey, got to stop the interview. Want to give a shout out, man. The only thing we smoke, ladies and gentlemen, is Slapwoods. That's right. Make sure you follow them at Slapwoods. And the reason why we smoke Slapwoods, it's literally because they slap. If you ain't smoking Slapwoods, what the fuck are you doing? Get back to the interview. Last year you went on a pretty prolific run of dropping projects.
Yeah, well, it was
really like
it was 2 years.
2024 or 2023, 2024. It was very much like
it was a tape.
Was it every month?
Yeah,
24 tapes consecutively.
Like that is something that is for anybody. Just the process of going to the studio, song structure, having that much inspiration to write, the beat clearances, the agreements, the side agreement. I mean, my goodness, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was definitely a lot of work, but it was invigorating. It's almost like I needed it. Like, some people, he one of them people now, wake up early as shit to go run.
Right.
Even when you don't feel like going to run.
Right.
It was like that for me.
Like that was instead of exercising, you were like, I gotta.
Yeah, well, it was what Jay-Z called it on a lyrical exercise.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, I don't record the way I used to record when I was younger. We used to record hundreds of songs, and then you got a hard drive, got 100 songs on it. And when it's time to put a mixtape out, I go in and record 30 songs, pick 15 of those songs. Now I got 115 songs on the hard drive. So at some point, I just said, fuck that, I can't really rock with this. I can't keep doing this. And after Piff passed, my head was all over the place. So I sat down one day, and when I started, it was in January, as a matter of fact. When I started recording, I caught myself trying to format the song. And I was like, all right, okay, I got what I want to say in the verse, how I want to do the hook. And I was just like, man, fuck it. Piff didn't care. He didn't care about if it had a hook or what. He was in there with other people in the booth with him. So I'm like, maybe me thinking this hard about it ain't as constructive as I once thought it was. So I just went in and just, it was free flowing. And from that, since I don't record every day like I used to, was January, how many days in January? 31?
31, I believe. Yeah, I was born in January, so I should know.
Well, the tape, whatever day the tape came out, I want to say it was the last Friday of January is when the first tape was released, and all the records were recorded that same week. They were recorded a couple days before I
So it was like kind of like a real-time thing.
Every tape
every
was
time.
Every tape.
Every 24 times. He's a psycho.
Man, we was I was in New York when he discovered this. I was in New York. It was October, as a matter of fact. I want to say when in October. Yeah, I'm in New York. It's October, and he hit me. And he was like, "Man, what's the end goal? What's the plan when you do your December tape?" Cause
this was the first year. This is 23.
Right. Yeah. Initially, we intended to do Step Brothers 4 right after the 12th
end of 2023. Yeah. Going into the beginning of the next year.
Yeah, but see, after the 12th tape, I don't know. Well, part of why I went for 12 more is a comment I kept seeing. It was recurring. You would get one person or a few people would praise me for having 12 consecutive tapes.
Right.
And then you got the people they got to come and say that Currency did it and Papoose did it.
Papoose did it, yeah.
I said, you know what? I'm sick of it. And I'm aware enough to understand that a lot of the times they just be baiting you. Because what people wanted was for me to be like, well, fuck Currency. This ain't about Currency.
Yeah.
But all that does is create a rift between me and Currency because that had nothing to do with Currency.
Right.
So I said, all right, you know what? Let's see if you can still say that after I do it 12 more times. And while we was having this conversation, Craig said, okay, at the end of the conversation, I was telling him I got to get our engineer on the phone because I can't get this equipment to work. This is the last week of October, or the last week with a Friday.
Okay.
So he was like, "Oh, well, shit, how much you got?" I was like, "Nothing." He was like, "What?" I said, "I don't have a single song." He said, "You can't be serious." I'm like, "Man,
dropping Friday. It's like Tuesday.
Wait. So it's Tuesday, and you would plan on dropping an album that hasn't even been recorded on.
None
Yeah,
whatsoever.
he's telling me he needs a verse from me. I'm like, cool. How much you got done? And he's like, nothing. I don't have a single song.
So this is on
I
a
didn't
Tuesday.
have a beat. I didn't have a song. I didn't
Who's
have
your
anything.
distributor?
Connect Music Group.
Okay, so
That's right. Connect Music Group, right? Okay, well, it's just Connect.
Connect Music.
So you guys, this is crazy. So you record this
Listen,
the October album in 2 days, 3 days.
2 or 3 days. Well, about 2 days because it got to be turned in Thursday morning.
Do you
the very
record
latest.
yourself at the very least to make
Yeah.
your life easier? Okay, thank God. Because if you had
Well, it does. That does not make my life easier because I'm recording at home with 8 kids. So not
shut
so
the
much.
fuck up.
Well, no.
Trust me, I record my radio show at home sometimes. I'll be in my fucking office and the kids got the dogs going crazy in the living room. And I'm like, will you guys shut the fuck up?
Well, for me, what I did was what Piff would have did. Some of my songs,
Got
like
your
if you
kids in
really
the back.
listen,
Yes.
you'll hear my kids
I
in
respect
the background.
it. Yeah.
But I sat down with my distributor for the first tape, and I told them I had planned to do like 12 straight, and they said what anybody would have said. It was like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
That's
Let's do
cute.
it.
Yeah, good. Sure.
And then 3 tapes in, they was like, okay, all right. And then we got to like tape 5 or 6, and they was like, okay, it's time to sit down. We gotta let's figure this out.
Let's
a little
work
bit
this
more,
music.
because you dead ass serious, and they really helped become a partner in that to help me streamline it along, because me being able to record it is just one part. Us being able to come up with a game plan immediately after it's recorded, or sometimes while it's being recorded, that was the contributing factor. Because it's a 2-part thing. Me recording and it being released. It being released is the most important part of this.
Right.
So with that, like I said, I recorded every tape the same way. I didn't do it on purpose. In real time, I spent, the first 3 weeks I spent with my family.
And then the last week.
The last week, him.
So in the fourth quarter, you start from scratch.
Yeah, every time. My engineer said I should name my record label Last Minute Records. But, my guy hit me and he was like, man, how we looking? We
For Step Brothers 4.
He's with Connect. So he hit me and he asked, how we looking? We're trying to upload. This might be Monday when he asked this. And I give him the same dope boy lie every time he calls me. I'm like, yeah.
It's on the way.
It's getting mixed and mastered right now.
Meanwhile, there's nothing.
There's nothing there. It's invisible. It don't even exist. But by the time, once I get it wrapped, that's the other thing. I got it. I don't know if they, you never really know when people are tuned in. But that's Kevin Zulieta. I hope I say your name right. Known you forever, but you can't say it right. So Kevin Zulieta was my mixing engineer. Mm-hmm. He been my engineer since 2010. He's recorded every record I've done, or recorded and mixed, except for the records I've done recorded myself.
Right.
But he had to mix all those too. And Kevin Nix stood in and mixed 24 projects straight. Mastered 24 projects straight. And like I said, that was it was a true team effort. I get through dropping vocals and I send it to my mixing engineer. He sent it back to me. We approve, and then we send it to mastering, and then from there we get it to distribution. And,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
With that whole process, and we were talking about downtimes, down periods. that process, like witnessing that was like
Had to be
ultimately it was very,
motivation,
very
right?
inspiring for me.
Yeah.
I was in that same time when he said when his distributor started to take it serious, and like, all right, let's get some structure to this and see, take it further. Simultaneously, I was going through like the worst writer's block. I wanted to snap out of it and get back in the mix. And we had conversations like, I just asked, like, how are you doing this? I think I may have at max released 5 or 6 projects in a calendar year. And that
Which is
was
still
like
impressive.
living and breathing rap music. So I'm like, monthly, this is crazy. I'm like, how are you able to do this? I can't put 4 bars together right now. And he's like, you're thinking too hard. Some of the same things he said. But when you asked earlier about the independent thing, I would share that as an indie, you have to be willing to work and do the work. Like, there's no shortcut. There's no sidestepping because it's on you primarily. That's what you're asking for. It's what you're signing up for, to do that willingly. And 2, you have to have a plan. It has to be about executing a plan. So to hear on the front end, I'm gonna do this. The main ingredient was he put the work in.
Execution.
Even if it was 2 or 3 days at a time.
It's all about
before
execution,
a week.
man.
It was just like seeing that, and that candid conversation we had in the first, early on in this process helped get me out of that rut. I wrote a song called Writer's Block on the back end of us having that conversation. I'm like, man, I'm having writer's block. He was like, I think your audience would like to hear you talk about that. You should write a song about having writer's block.
For sure.
And I was like, wow. It was just like,
Y'all so transparent with your lives, man. That's important.
Sure. Yeah. And it ended up being the intro to my next solo project. And like you said, toward the end of the year, I'm like, all right, I'm dropping in December. And
now
we
what?
drop number 12, and then let's lock in on Step Brothers 4. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm about to do it again. I'm about to do 13 through 24.
He's like, I have to prove these comments wrong.
And I was like,
I had to
okay.
shut him up, man.
So for everybody out there, he technically
he's the reason
shelved.
why. Yeah,
He's due for one of those years of the delay between Step Brothers 3 and 4, but that was a blessing too.
So my question for you, Don, because like I feel like there's got to be a gift and a curse of releasing so much music. Because do you feel like some music doesn't get worked the proper way? Do you feel like it doesn't give your fans time to really digest these albums?
No.
Or you're just like,
I used to look at it like that. I used this
Right.
24 tapes. I used to look at music like that, and then I started seeing, I think Craig called them something like legacy artists.
yeah.
I started seeing legacy artists step backwards and shoot videos to songs that was 25 years old.
Yeah, Juvenile shot that 400 degrees video.
Right. Project Pat did it. I can't remember what.
I remember that. Yep. He did
I
something.
can't remember what record that was, but Project Pat did it.
Yep.
When he did it, I said, wow. And then Juvenile did it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw, what's my guy? I saw Shy Glizzy put out a video to a song.
It was old.
A white girl.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was like 10 years old
Yeah.
when he put a video to it. And then on the highest level, I watched that Chris Brown record pop.
Yeah.
And
the Chris Brown record was from like,
it was like 3 or 4 years
yeah,
old.
I remember because
But
I'm a
I didn't-
radio guy and I remember seeing the song on the chart and I was like, yo, that can't be the same song from like.
Well, see, I ain't in tune, so
Yeah, no, but it's
I'm
crazy.
riding with my wife. Well, in the rare occasion that she drives, so she's driving.
God bless that statement because the same thing goes for my fucking wife.
Yeah, she's a passenger.
She has attitude when I
passenger
make her
princess.
fucking drive.
Yeah, buddy, her ass cheeks are engraved in the seat. But either way, man, she was playing the Chris Brown record. And I'm like, I've been seeing a lot of that on the internet, and I was like, damn, it's cool to see, to see artists maintain a longevity. And I was like, it's cool. I saw somewhere that the video was coming, and she was like, yeah, that song came out 3 years ago. I was like, 3 years ago. She was saying it almost like, she wanted to hear new music.
Right.
Now I'm thinking like, this nigga pulled a video out from a song he released 3 years ago? I said, okay, well, shit. If Chris Brown can reach back and pull a record out and, because it gained, whatever traction it gained it 3 years later.
For sure.
So I'm like, man, I couldn't help but look at my music the same way. So with 24 projects, it's like 300 plus songs. And with that, I kind of view it like a show on Netflix. You can binge
People can
watch
go
it.
back and rewatch.
Right. You ain't caught up to season 7 yet.
Like
That's
I didn't watch
fine.
Breaking Bad when it came out.
Right.
I didn't either. I wasn't hip.
I had to go back.
Exactly. But that's how I look at it. I look at it like, all right, you know, you might have caught on late, and if you caught on late,
Go dive in.
you welcome to go go binge watch. And you know, or binge listen. Right. It's more there, and it gives you the space to live with some of it. If you know you go back 24 tapes, let's say 5 or 6 tapes in, it's a song that you living through right there, right in that moment. And that's the one that speaks to you. And all you've heard is that, you know, you've been playing that song. That's part of the soundtrack to your life now. That's fine. You don't, you know, when you get to the rest of the records, then so be it. But if one of those records out of 300 some records, if one of them became the soundtrack to your life, then I did something right.
That's amazing. So you guys get through the 24 albums.
Right.
And then you finally have his attention.
Yeah, I did
Right,
too.
because I was ignoring them.
But you finally have attention to work on Step Brothers 4.
Right.
For sure.
What, for you guys, like we talked about the intent earlier on you guys kind of meeting up and going through some of your favorite buddy cop movies and all. I mean, I feel like the intent was it comes through the music, but just break down to me what it was like to finally like lock in, because 2017 was Step Brothers 3.
Yeah.
So that's 7 years later. You guys have each been through a ton. 8 years later. Fuck, my math's cooked.
I take the last year. It was my fault.
But what is like? How does it feel to get back in and just be super locked in with intent, with purpose to do this album?
It felt great, honestly. It felt nostalgic.
Refreshing.
I think is one way of viewing it, because like we said, we go back to 2011 with this collective brand and working in tandem, and getting back in to like make this project a focus and a priority it was a breath of fresh air, because I say it all the time, it lightens the load, you know, in the sense of I only have to do half the work. I only have to spit half the bars.
Right.
And my counterpart is prolific.
For sure.
So on one end, I got like all the confidence in the world that, you know, he's going to fill in the blanks or whatever is there. And then also it gives me, it sets the bar so high that it's not really possible to like half step, you know, with what I bring into the fold. So that's like a cool feeling of like steel sharpens steel, as they say. And also it was almost effortless. You know,
It felt like, listening to the music, it feels like y'all were just in there.
Yeah, we recorded 17 songs to deliver the 16 records that were on Step Brothers for Life originally. And for the deluxe, the 8 new records that we just dropped and added to the album, we recorded 8 songs, and you got all 8 of them. So it's not just like throwing, you know, paint at the wall, as they say, or just doing a lot and picking the best of it. What you got is what we came up with. And all those, other than Origins, all those are new records. Origins was recorded almost immediately after Step Brothers 3. And as they say, the truth doesn't change. We're telling our origin story, and that's just what it was. So
I feel like more artists need to do that, where they're like, I feel like so many people go into the studio with a half-ass approach and then pick through a bunch of half-ass records.
And most deluxes are the leftovers of that.
Correct.
And so we were intentional of like not wanting to just give you filler
The shit that didn't
material.
make like let's get in and let's
One
really.
that was only one song that didn't make it.
Right.
But also
and it still didn't make for life. I mean,
Which is
for
great.
deluxe.
Yeah, if it didn't make the original, it shouldn't make the deluxe. Yeah.
that's how we agreed on that as artists. And not to mention, we put the project out as being well received. We immediately got on the road, started touring off of it. We added 6 of the records to our live show. And it's like, man, people are really feeling this. We kind of made it our duty or almost felt indebted. Like, we need to give them more. Like, this is working.
Why
Let's just
half-ass now?
let's take that energy and double down on it. And that's why it was 4.5.
For sure.
It's like a truly like its own thing or a supplement to what we are presenting. Because after all, people waited 8 years. So you only had to wait 2 months. For
Even like a
another half
callback
of
to like clips earlier, they said the same thing. They said there was nothing we recorded that didn't make the album.
Yeah.
What you heard was the album. And that's how we recorded it. There was not like fat that we had to cut. in the process.
That's ill. How many records on their album?
I think it's 12 or 13.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I can still respect.
But
that.
it's like, you know, it's like when you go into the studio and you actually take time and intent with your music. It's it's gonna take you longer, but
I think that's
it's
difference.
worth it, though.
That's the difference in synergy as well. Like we get along. We have a camaraderie that extends past beats and bars and making music. So making the music together is a second nature thing. Like I was in his wedding. Like we were around at family functions.
For sure.
Like
you guys got the kids on the cover.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly,
It was intentionally a family portrait because that's the bond we forged over time. That is not. It's not an aesthetic. It's not something that we're presenting. So even in those 8 years, we spent more time together and had more experiences than between 2 and 3. Not just because it was more time, we just grew closer. Yeah. And so that's what I heard from the Clips album is just it appears as though, I imagine so, but they like making music together. They seem to be in a good space.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even presenting the album on the marketing end. And on a fan level, like, think about how many collaborative projects we've seen in the last, I guess, 10 years or so, where that's all you got from those two artists. They did that.
It was
as
a cash grab. Look, let's purge each other's fan
They don't even
bases.
feel collaborative.
Mutually beneficial. We're each gonna primary artist this shit.
See them around each other.
And a lot of times they'll do those albums and then they don't fuck with each other when the albums come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember like there was a Moneybagg Yo NBA Youngboy tape that came out, and by the time the tape came out, NBA Youngboy was like, I ain't fucking with this album. But it's like it's interesting because
I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I never quite understood I don't know either of them, so I don't know the dynamic of it. But I agree. A lot of the tandem projects you hear don't have an actual camaraderie.
you said synergy.
Yes,
it's just they're cash grabs.
Definitely.
I like working with people that, like, one, I'm fans of, or
True that.
I like them as people. That makes it a whole lot easier. I mean, we can do business.
Because if this works out, we're gonna maybe go on the road together.
Right.
We're gonna have to be
And
around
make more
that-
money.
and make
Best
more
case
money.
scenario. But if it's just the business in front of it, it's kind of like.
I wonder for you, Don, what are your thoughts on just Memphis in general right now? Because I believe it was Stephen A. Smith who came out and said that there's players who don't want to get drafted to the Grizzlies because of maybe some of the negative connotations about Memphis. It feels like, like I said, on the hip hop side, Memphis has had such a huge.
Stephen A. Smith is.
He was in paid in full.
He's allowed
tried
to.
to rob his booty.
Definitely can't be in paid in full. Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith from ESPN.
Okay.
So they're talking about the NBA draft, and he was saying how certain players don't want to go to the Grizzlies because of how dangerous Memphis is.
I think
as a
I
city.
heard something about that.
But I wonder for you, man. Like, obviously, Memphis became like when we were coming up, it was like Atlanta, New York, LA, and then the rest of the country. But now Memphis is one of those cities. As an OG from Memphis, like, what is your kind of perspective of where Memphis hip hop is and just like the city in general?
Well, as far as music, I think Memphis has come a long way. I think we still got some ways to go. A lot of Memphis artists aspire to have the kind of what's the word they always use? Unity. They have the same kind of unity that they have in Atlanta. And I think part of why we don't really have the unity they have in Atlanta is because in Atlanta, when artists don't really, at least when I was coming up, when artists didn't get along in Atlanta's the only people that knew it. We never knew.
Yeah, there wasn't like YouTube documentaries and
right.
crazy
It got a little
blogs.
tricky when they had like real thick beef.
Right.
Like, we just about knew everybody Gucci Mane was beefing with.
Right.
But,
of course, yeah.
But past that, the people that just didn't get along, we didn't hear about it. We didn't know about it. And in some cases, they will have like a mutual friend or something, so they end up on the same records even though they don't rock with each other. And in Memphis, it's a little different. And it's like, I would like to say it's just kind of the same way everywhere with the gang culture. We grew up, it was designated sets. It was like, it was Bloods, it was Crips. Vice Lords and GDs, and now they got like hybrid gangs. So the hybrid gang might have all of those, Blood, Crip, and GD, and when certain people in that gang stop getting along, they branch out and spawn a new hybrid gang. And for you know it, the city's filled with hybrid gangs. And now, with music, now everybody's record label's really the name of the gang.
We've seen it over and over with the way the Ricos are working out and the speculated Ricos that are coming. And
but see, I think that's part of why musically the unity is not present. I think, like I said, I think we got some ways to go before we get to that space. I don't really have a stake in any of that. I always, I never really been into being in other people's business.
right.
And for me, I think the respect that I do receive from Memphis artists, old and young, is at a level where they understand that whatever they got going on don't got nothing to do with me. I ain't picking no side of nothing that didn't involve me. As far as Memphis as a whole or as a culture, like for what you just say his name was?
Stephen A. Smith, when he was saying that certain players wouldn't sign there or don't want to be drafted there because of the perception of how dangerous it is.
I don't think
it was dangerous.
I don't think that play a factor. I think it's dangerous everywhere.
Fair.
I mean, that just is what it is. Same way, you got crime in Memphis, you got it everywhere.
You got it in LA, you got it in the Bay, you got it in Nashville, you got it in Vegas,
Right.
you got it in Florida. Yeah.
It's people getting killed in Nebraska. So
Shout out to Omaha.
I think that was I think that might have been an ignorant statement to make.
Probably.
I don't think that
He got a lot of hell for it.
Okay, well, he deserved it if that was the statement. Because I mean, again, you got some fucked up places in America.
For sure.
They
Gary, Indiana exists.
Michael Jordan played for Chicago.
Right. Right.
I mean, Chicago ain't they ain't fucking it ain't what is that Mayberry.
For sure.
So I don't know.
They had crime in Mayberry, so Barney Fife had a job.
Yeah, he had no gun.
It's funny you said that.
Yeah,
when you said that earlier about the Atlanta guys being on, I think back to you remember the Young Buck song Stomp?
Yeah, we was talking about that earlier.
And then
today.
Luda and T.I.
On the same record.
On the same record, and then the album version came out and they replaced, I forget who got replaced, but the game, I think they replaced T.I. with the game.
Yeah, I was in the studio when Buck got the Ludacris verse. I was actually there when he first heard the
What was his reaction?
part of the
Please stay off the T.I.P. of my dick.
I heard the T.I. verse in the studio, and I'm telling the story wrong. I heard the T.I. verse with Young Buck in the studio like before I ever dropped the project. And I was in a club with a bunch of the BMF guys in 2004. I was at an after hours club in Atlanta. I think Atrium was the name of it. I was Jeezy flew me to Atlanta trying to sign me to CT at the time, and I'm in after hours third club we went to that night, and the DJ played the Ludacris verse in the club, and one of the BMF guys, I want to say, got him like $1,000 for the CD because this was not, you weren't sending files, right? But they played it a bunch of times, and I remember I had heard the T.I. verse; it was unreleased. I had heard that maybe 6 months prior. And I knew he kind of dissed Ludacris on there. And I played this in a club, like I said, 4 a.m. And I was like, man, that's some messy shit right there. You got two people on the same song dissing each other. But like you said, it came out differently than that.
Yeah.
But they should have put that out because it was out on the mixtape scene for so long. And then when the album came out, you're like, come on.
Well,
yeah, it was like the southern, not to the same extent. But like the southern version of 4321.
Right. Yeah, the Cannabis LL shit.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, that's fair. Hey, we got to wrap up this interview. Another one presented by Hardin, baby. You already know what it is. Shout out to Hardin for presenting another episode of the Bootleg Head Podcast. Don't forget, when you're in Vegas, you get in that taxi, you get in that Uber, say, take me to Hardin, the #1 cannabis dispensary in the world. Premium selection of the craziest gas you could ever ask for. And then they break down what all the terps mean. It's incredible. Go to Hardin_Las Vegas, shoot them a follow. And when you're in Las Vegas, make sure you shoot them a visit. Hey, want to give a shout out to our newest sponsor. I don't like to vape unless it is pure solventless rosin. Want to give a shout out to RokinCannabis.com. Go give them a follow. It's nothing but that good gas. Check them out at your local dispensary, RokenCannabis.com. Salute to them. Let's get back to the interview. What about you, Starlito? Because I feel like Nashville's kind of been a city that's always had like an interesting, there's been successful artists out of Nashville yourself. We mentioned Young Buck. I'm glad you guys squashed your issues too. But
For sure.
then there's like a guy like Jelly Roll who and Struggle, and there's kind of like the kind of that white boy like side of the Nashville hip hop scene that was Haystack was from Nashville. You know what I'm saying? But for you, like Nashville is very much like country's like so big right now. And so as a city, like Nashville's probably bigger than it's ever been in terms of like people coming there, writers coming there for obviously that genre. But on the hip hop side, where do you kind of see Nashville right now? And is there any up and coming artists that you think are dope that maybe have a chance to?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's several. I think we're right at on the cusp of blossoming and creating more of a presence overall, hopefully in the hip hop space. I mean, obviously that's where my roots are.
Right.
Like you said, the scale of music business in Nashville is, I hope all my peers and comrades that are working just keep working, because I think genres are starting to overlap more than anything.
For
the
sure.
Shabuzi record is a rap record reworked in the country.
He reworked Tipsy,
The Tipsy
Jaquan.
song,
What's your sis name? What you just said?
his name's Shabuzi, the artist.
By the way, this is the #1 most successful Billboard song ever.
Yeah.
It's spelled more weeks at #1 than any song ever.
And it's a
His
rap.
name is Shabuzi.
Yes.
It's a rap song.
how
He's
disconnected
aloof.
he is.
He's completely.
No, I heard the country version of Tipsy. I just didn't know what
That's
his name was.
Shabuzi, yeah.
And
Shabuzi.
to see a rap song being reworked and reformatted for country and having that kind of success, I think is very much an indicator of how close music is music. And so like I said to my
Is he
peers,
from Nashville?
I
don't believe
know.
so.
I don't
think he's
think
from, I
so.
think he's from Virginia.
Yeah, I don't think he's from Nashville, but
Okay. I ain't mean to cut you off for
No,
that.
But
I was,
he's been in Nashville for a while. But
yeah,
anyway.
and
he
I mean,
lives in.
he's-
Okay, he was making
you
music
know,
in Nashville.
country music is the lifeline of music business in Nashville.
Right.
Like people come there to establish themselves in that genre. I think we got some rich history as far as rap goes. You mentioned there's the Quanti Cash, Pistol,
Yep.
Cool Daddy Fresh, artists that early on for me, even before I was rapping, that I saw have presence, get to surface level. And even now, there's a ton of artists that I feel like are right there. It's Tim Gent. I think he's promising, got a lot of talent from the area. The producer Band Play,
Shout out to
as
Band.
multi-platinum producer and all over the place. We're working on an album together
Dope.
to tell a different story in Nashville musically. And the intent is to have some of that mashup and overlap from genres, because we're peers, we're neighbors. I mean, for a long time, I just started like really getting my foot in the door on Music Row. It's where a lot of the studios
You got
in
a
Nashville.
pen, man. Like you
For
could
sure.
go in there and jump in any of those writer rooms and
I've been doing it recently, and I challenge those around me. I see some of my peers, some of my buddies, like Lil Vag, Sweet Poison. These are some Nashville-based artists that I feel like are doing the footwork and trying to rap hustle, which is something that I champion and admire. Like I said, I mean, there's too many to name.
Right.
But got Big Top and Trapper Mandel. They're both artists on my label, Grind Hard, that are right there. And I just think, like I said, you just got to put the work in or figure out how to make yourself stand out amongst what's going on, globally or everywhere. But I think with Nashville is like the fastest growing city. It's been the fastest growing city in America.
no state tax. Shout out to Tennessee. Y'all got the tax shit figured out there.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
It's fucked out here.
But
It's a different world.
yes, I mean, like I said, it's we're right there.
Yeah.
And on the cusp of emerging and breaking through. There has been you mentioned some of the artists and it's like a cultural divide. I just think we just gotta rise above all those like labels and stigmata and just do the work. And if we get like behind each other, there's a big record out of Nashville from Black Wizzle called Cashville Be Ballin'. And I've seen it this summer, like in his own way, unite people and and create a sense of unity and pride. And it was refreshing. It almost felt like throwback to just see people where I'm from get excited about something musically. Me and Jelly Roll have had some conversations about that record specifically. Just he told me, he was like, it's two things he's been waiting on, and it's for me to want to put myself back out there in the whole mix of everything with my music. And he was like, he's been waiting on someone from Nashville to make a hit. And he was like, man, both of those things have happened simultaneously with me working the album with Don Tripp and also with Black Whistle's record. So it's a lot to look out for. I just think we just gotta keep working, like, and creating. I mean, I've seen other cities and other markets like blossom. I love Detroit rap. I like
Detroit's
Florida,
going crazy
Florida
right
rap.
now. Yeah.
Texas is,
Obviously
had
Texas is
moments.
Yeah, Dallas is doing this. The Big X is going crazy. You talk about the genre stuff. He's doing country stuff. And,
Right.
I do think it's interesting too, because it's like, Nashville literally is one of the biggest music. I mean, it's where the entire country industry exists. Like, if you want to sign a country record deal, you ain't coming to LA, you ain't going to New York.
Right.
You got to go to the office in Nashville. So it's such a big music city, but on the hip hop side, it's always been like, I feel like far and few between in terms of like the artists that like, I'm from Phoenix, lived in Vegas, lived in Florida, that I like. It started with Young Buck, obviously. I Nashville's Cashville as a kid, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's, it's been dope to see like some of the energy, like you said, like, the genre shit, like you said, it's like, if you're a talented writer and you live in Nashville, you could be a rapper, but if you got a pen, like, you could go get a pub bag.
Yeah. I mean, there's a kid, Lil Bree, from there that's doing some interesting overlap things. My buddy, Broadway Bo, actually used to play NFL football, is definitely like being super experimental. Like, he's got a dope pen and trying to like take it there in terms of the genre bending or melting things. And, working amongst all that, like you said, is right there. It's at our fingertips.
Right.
I do think one thing with the internet and how small it makes the world, I think we got to erase those geographical boundaries and whatnot.
They kind of, they've kind of been erased, to be fair.
Right. But you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, you
like
got
when
to,
you mention Young Buck, even for myself, even for Jelly, like, I think our ability to navigate the music realm and business outside of just what was contained in Nashville, it raised our ceiling and our growth potential. Like, you got to put yourself out there. You got to get uncomfortable. I'm 2,000 miles away from home sitting there talking to you.
For sure.
That's a part of the process. Like, I know the difference in just putting the music in a marketplace and thinking it's going to push yourself. Sure, I have a core audience and following, but you got to do the work. You got to introduce yourself and try to grow audience. That's the name of it. And I planted my feet in Memphis, Tennessee, and I've lived in Atlanta at different times, even early in my career, just for the sake of networking, because Nashville didn't have an urban music scene like that.
Right.
But some of these other places have thrived.
You had to go. I mean, you say you were hanging out with BMF at a strip club in Atlanta in probably 2004 or 5.
Yeah, it was by virtue of just trying to see something else. I was down in New Orleans for the Essence Festival that same summer, rubbing shoulders with Cash Money, and which led to that deal. And
did you ever go to one of these crazy BMF parties we hear about?
That was
with the Tigers and the.
It was in that same time frame.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like millions of dollars worth of cars parked out front when we left out.
I just always hear about the wild animals, which is like,
Yeah, I think that was somebody's birthday party or something.
Yeah.
But I can't say I was around enough to see that a lot of that was real. But that's to my point. I was able to see that the world was bigger than what I knew in East Nashville.
Yeah.
And so we thought we were balling. We were young, getting some money and putting on locally. When I went down there, and I'll never forget this, my manager at the time, shout out to Lionel Matthews, works with juvenile. He's a juvenile court clerk and, doing great things. But at this time, we're traveling, we're down there, and like I said, it's the third club, same night. I'm drinking a bottle of champagne, some like PJ, this Perrier Jouet. I'd never seen this kind of champagne before. It was probably $500 a bottle in the club. Somebody with them gives me a bottle. I'm drunk. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of partying by this time. I pass him the bottle, and somebody taps me on the shoulder. Was like, "Hey, you was such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah." hands me another bottle. He's like, man, we don't even share cigarettes, and just walks off. I don't know who this was. And at that time, I was like, yeah, he just stunning on me. But it also gave me something to aspire to. I'm like, nah, we not really doing it big. Like there's levels.
I always tell people, because I'm from Phoenix, and so like I always tell whether it's a DJ or an artist, I'm like, yo, get out. You got to see the world, because perspective's everything.
Right.
It's real easy to get wrapped up in your local hip hop politics. I'm like, fuck all that. Get out.
Right.
Shake hands. See the world. See the country, and understand that it's bigger than just your city.
And just the same, I got around artists in different pockets, different spaces, and saw that they were working. They were working harder than me and my peers were at that time. Like we wanted it, and we were at it, but to see people like living and breathing this shit, it was like, oh, okay, this is why they are where they are. That was the main thing I took from my time at Cash Money. Like it was an operation. Like it wasn't just basking in it, and they were who they were when I met them, but they were working like they weren't
for sure, like they weren't already, Yeah,
it was a compound, and I took that with me. Like, yeah, you gotta. Work
I mean, that was around Carter 1.
Carter 1 was around the time.
Yeah,
I drove to the Essence Festival, listening to a bootleg version of the Carter 1. And when we got there, they gave us advanced copies of it, and I had to act like I hadn't heard it already. It was,
honestly, I still think Carter. To me, I know Carter. A lot of people say Carter 3. I'm a Carter 1 or Carter 2 guy, depending on the day.
Yeah, me too.
Carter 1 was Birdman Jr.
We were talking about that earlier today.
That Birdman Jr. Oh my God.
He had the truck top.
Put his feet in the blades.
Shout out to T Mix. He produced that.
Don, when the label decides to get behind Letter to My Son, was there an artist that was in consideration besides CeeLo? Or was it just like, hey, CeeLo, like, because I know how the major labels work. Sometimes they're like, what name can we get on this song to take it to the next level?
Yeah, they said Mary J. Blige. And I said no. See, that whole everything about the release of that song was tricky, because in real time that song's never been added to radio. It seems like it was, but it never really was. Around this time, Cool and Dre are going to the office to network politic. And I'm a firm believer of a united front, even though we weren't on the same page, individually.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in and be pressing for one thing and they're pressing for the opposite thing, because then we look foolish. So, I'm under the impression that they're going in and they fighting for, this situation. Later, I found out they weren't, so I don't really know what, if anything, they told me was true. But at that point in time, they told me that Jimmy Iovine requested that we put a hook on the Letter to My Son record. And I'm asking why, and they like, you can't go to radio without a hook. So we battled with that for a second, and I explained to him, the record is too, I'm too connected to this record for me to
change it.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's got to be changed.
By the way, I hate the CeeLo version.
Well, I love CeeLo.
No, I love CeeLo too. I love Goody Mob. I love CeeLo.
I felt the same way. I felt it was fine the way it was.
I cannot listen to that song with CeeLo on it.
Yeah. Well, see,
because I love the original.
We took a long that was a fight that I just had to bow out on, because they was expressing it as if Jimmy Iovine made this call, and I'm like, that's who bet the money on it. And we having the conversations, and I'm like, man, maybe I need to speak to Jimmy. And of course, everybody voted against such. But we sat down, they was like, it's got to have a hook. And I'm like, man, I don't even know how you split this song up into 3 verses. I'm like, there's ain't no stopping points in that.
Yeah,
So, they came with a few versions. I picked the best one of the however many it was that they played for me. And they, it's like, we need a hook. And I'm like, I can't think of a hook. I can't, this is, you got to keep in mind, I'm living this song. So I'm like, it's my real life. I can't, they wanted a Letter to My Son Part 2. So even that was out the question for me. I'm like, man,
I would have even preferred you named the version with CeeLo Part 2.
That probably would have been that would have been a nice alternative, compromise. But they were like you had to have a hook. I couldn't really agree. And one day I was on Twitter and I didn't know, I had no idea that they had reached out to people. So I don't really know how it got to her desk. But Esther Dean hit me on Twitter and she was like, I sent you a surprise. And I'm like, okay, I don't know.
It's about the time she had a big record.
Well, she was pumping. She
had a huge record.
She had a lot of shit going. So I was already familiar with her and familiar with most of the projects she worked on. So when she sent me this, I was confused. I was like, maybe she tweeted me on accident. And then shortly after, I want to say Dre hit me and he was like, we got the hook back. I want to play the hook for you. So he played it over the phone. So it's Esther Dean who really wrote the hook. So I heard him like, okay, I can fuck with that. I don't think that's a bad contribution to it. I mean, since I'm forced to
since you're gonna have to do it, yeah.
Right, I'm forced to format it. So I'm like, all right, so be it. And they was like, we reached out. I'm not sure which one, but they had Mary J. Blige in mind. And I said, no, I don't think that works because it's a letter to my son, and the perspective that's always been missing when it comes to single parenting is the father's perspective.
Yep.
So I was like, nah, I don't think that fits. And I love Mary J. Blige. I just felt like that didn't make much sense sonically. So I told him, I used an example. I was like, man, it's a record from 8Ball MJG. It's called Paid Dues. And I'm like, the way CeeLo sings on that's part of the reason why I love this record. I feel it like it give me chills. I'm like, if anything, it should be something like this. So I played the record for him. And, not too long after, Dre hit me again. He was like, man, we got the word back. I want you to hear this. So, he played it over the phone like he did the last one. And it's CeeLo singing it. And later he told me, part of how they got it connected, him knowing Dre was close with Gip.
Yeah, shout out Big Gip.
And somehow, they lined it up. Yeah, definitely shout out to Big Gip. Gip always hold me down. But they worked it out, and it ended up being CeeLo on the record, and we put the move in place, and we didn't have to do. I thought we had to do. Well, we had to shoot the video, and right before we shot the video, I had to sign the agreement to for CeeLo to be a part of it, and I'll never forget that we paid CeeLo $100 for the vocals, $100 to do the video, and in the contract it says that he's not obligated to perform in any medium. After you do the video, after you do the video, he's not obligated to be present for any performance of the song. So we paid him $200 and then paid another $100 to get the video filmed, and then it was in limbo. Every other day they tell me we're going for an ad date. Ad date gonna be this day. Ad date gonna be that day, and they never got an ad date. So after a year of them doing like for a whole year, they was coming back to me saying ad date gonna be this day, that day. So not a calendar year, not January to December. Whatever month we was on, it made its way back around. I peeped that in my email. I'm reading the email and I just happened to tap the button to see where the original email.
Right.
And I'm like, man, it's been a year. Not a year till that day, but a year to the month. So this conversation started in October, here we are a year later in October, and you're telling me we're gonna go for an ad date. So that was the conversation or the email that let me know there wasn't no salvaging
the record
or the record deal.
Oh, the deal, okay.
Right, because I can't see that. You told me it came from Jimmy. If it came from Jimmy, then it's supposed to be urgent. I can't see something being urgent and taking 12 months to be accomplished. And I'm watching people get ad dates a lot sooner. I was signed at the same time as Kendrick Lamar and Mindless Behavior. Kendrick Lamar had a record before that Swimming Pools record.
Yeah, he had
I don't know the name of it.
What was the original single? It wasn't The Recipe.
No, he started with records with Dre. But either way, I watch songs that weren't even created yet.
You're talking about going to radio.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's what I mean. I said I was in the studio with Dre while he was recording one.
So
of
you
the
had
records.
you were signed to Cool and Dre, like to their production company,
right? But I'm talking about Dr. Dre. I was in the studio with Dr. Dre when he was recording one of the records that Kendrick Lamar ended up being on. So I watched the record that was recorded after me.
Right. Come out and be worked to radio.
Right. Well after me. Now I understand it's Dr. Dre, but I seen it a few times. I saw Mindless Behavior record do the same thing, and a few other people that were under Interscope. So I gathered then that maybe this is not Interscope's doing. Maybe what I've been told ain't legit. Maybe all of this was a play. And then, it's a few people in Interscope I got to know, Mar Brown and Mel Carter.
Rest in peace to Mar.
Well, both of them, they both passed.
Okay, I don't know Mel, so.
But yeah, those were two of the people who helped me navigate through the whole situation. I ended up getting out of the situation and not owing anything. Especially, we spent $300,000 on a
that's a
record
lot of money.
Never went to radio.
That you never that's like what that's in 2020. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
It's like 2011.
Just 2011, yeah.
But that was wild. But from that, so the Letter to My Son record, this guy, it always has had a different effect on me than
you went through so much
listener.
of it, yeah.
I went through quite a bit. I was going through it in real life, then I went through it in business.
Both sides.
Then, right.
I've had because I had my show in Vegas at KVEG. I did the night show, but then I had Sunday nights from 10 to 12.
Yeah.
That night. I was playing the original, but I had I was all, every weekend we'd get together, me and my DJ.
That's all I could get was mixed.
And we would no, but I wasn't playing the CeeLo. I mean, we played the CeeLo version when it came out.
Right.
But we were playing the original version, just self-edits. Like this is a blog era. So you get the Z-Fire share.
Yeah.
And then you'd hit Two Dope Boys, you'd hit Not Right, you'd hit Rap, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you download shit, be like, all right, what are we cleaning this week? Oh, we got Don Tripp, we got fucking Mac Miller, we got, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Such a great era. Just
True that.
All-time great era, man. Well, listen, the new album and the deluxe are out. Are you guys, you talking about touring? Is there any more tour dates coming? Is there any more hitting the road or?
Yeah, we're going on a couple of days. We're going through the Midwest, Indianapolis, Cincinnati / Covington, Kentucky, Columbus, Ohio, and we're in Omaha. You just mentioned Omaha, Nebraska. We're there next week in Atlanta.
I think in Omaha, I just think of the guy in Nelly or in Belly eating the banana.
Russell, he's illest nigga in Nebraska.
He gonna be there. He gonna be there. Atlanta. We got Atlanta coming up, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama. So
do you guys do vinyls for this album?
We got one. We on the way to you. We just got the vinyls back. So we'll
it's crazy. I was just talking with the Alchemist. Me and him hung out the other night for hours, just smoking, waiting for Freddie Gibbs, who's the most tardy motherfucker alive. But anyway, so him and I we're just talking because Alchemist is really like his business model is insane. So what he does is he's got his distro deal. And then he presses all his vinyl on his own. And what he does is, and is very smart, because you guys have some diehard fans.
True that.
So he does 3 or 4 tiers of vinyl releases. So they all come out on the same day. But there's like the normal black version, which you could just order whenever. But then he'll have like a tier where it's like a splatter white and red copy that's numbered. And those are 100 a pop. But when they're gone forever. So maybe there's like 500 of those. So then he has another one that's also limited, but it's not as limited. It's like maybe it's 1,000 copies instead of 500. And he'll sell that one for like $79.99. These bitches sell out like this. But then he's got the normal vinyl that, is mass produced.
Right.
But man, it gives and then now you have like fans who are like collecting. They're like you guys are gonna have fans that'll buy all 3.
Yeah,
right.
It's just a way to like give your fans like items that they can like cherish and also ultra monetize the music.
Yeah. True that.
But listen, man, the album is out. It's an incredible body of work. You guys are legends. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We're gonna have you guys freestyle too, so that'll be a separate YouTube video. I'm assuming just I mean, you guys are probably never not working. Are you guys working on new solo stuff?
Indeed.
I know that we don't have to ask him that.
He's always 2 days away
Obviously,
from a new
yes. There
release.
might be an album coming out that he records tonight, dropping
Maybe
tomorrow.
Friday. Who knows? But yeah, we're working.
It's obviously him. Yeah, got to be, of course.
Yeah, we're working. We're working on some things. We're still working collectively as well.
True that.
Like,
Dope.
I think
We're not gonna wait 8 years for the.
Nah.
No.
No
We ain't
way.
gonna make you wait for 8.
It's fun, man. We're back to the roots of it all, just enjoying it.
True that.
And I think it would be a disservice to our brand and to our audience to not keep moving on it and moving with the energy of it. But even individually, I think I was sitting in the studio with him this past week while he was working on some solo stuff.
Yeah.
There's still there's value to our input,
Right.
because we almost are de facto like A&Rs for each other, because he ain't gonna listen to too many people.
Right.
And we work kind of in quiet. He's always say he don't get along well. He never played well with others and whatnot. And just the same, like I'm an only child, so it's kind of second nature to just go in and work. But I really do cherish and value like collaboration with, like we said, our engineer. We share the same mixing engineer, and he.
Are you guys both? Did you move to Nashville, or were you guys still spread out across the state?
Yeah,
He live in Nashville, I live in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah, we just commute like it's down the street or something.
Yeah, like I'll be there.
Or we meet somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even with this project, we'll meet somewhere, neutral, I guess you could say.
And land at the same time.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Sometimes it's what's needed. Because at home, he's got responsibilities he can't escape, and same for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I'm out of pocket, then I got to,
If you're in town, your wife's gonna make you drive her places. If you're out of town, she's just gonna have to just
Still
fucking.
gonna have to drive.
Right.
I deal with this shit all the time.
She'd
be like, "Sweetheart, give me an
drive
Uber."
on the phone.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you guys pulling up, man. We're gonna have y'all
appreciate
y'all
you
do
for
what you
having
do
us.
best, man. The new
indeed.
album is out. The deluxe just dropped, and so many videos off the project too. So go support Starlito, Don Trip. Boom.